All right, it's great to be here. Hello, everybody. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. Today, we have Rafi Moshe, who's from our current cohort, Cohort 19. His company is a wonderful, amazing company called StoriedLife. And I just wanted to get down through Rafi today and talk about your experiences in Super Scaler program, GSD Super Scaler. So, how would you describe your overall experience with the program?
Well, I'd say it's been fantastic. It's been, initially, there's this getting to know the people in the program. And I have to say, one of the things that impressed me the most is the quality of the other members in the program. We're at different stages of developing our companies, but just the quality of the people was the very first thing that immediately impressed me. So obviously your selection process of who you bring into the program, it has a lot to say for it. And and then this focus on really telling a story. And of course, my platform is about stories, so it's natural for me. But it's interesting that even for me, there's so many ways that I needed to improve my ability to tell a story and make it a compelling and make it connect with the audience.
How many companies have you built? So, this isn't your first company. How many
No.
companies have you built?
So I built six companies in the past. Three of them were successful exits. My very first company out of university was a unified messaging company, or at the time it was called IVR, Interactive Voice Response Systems. I built a security company that managed and tracked visitors coming in and out of facilities. That company is part of Honeywell. And I was also in the enterprise GPS solution. So we literally built hardware from the metal up with an enterprise platform on top of it. And that became part of a company out of the Midwest called Runsheimer. Been
Oh, I
in,
know the Runtime. I remember they used to have a plan where you get so much money per mile
that's
for
exactly it.
car. I remember those
Yes.
guys. Yeah.
So at the end, basically, the hardware that we built and sort of the interface layer became part of their solution and made within like a year and a half, most of the customers were using our solution. And at the end, they ended up buying the company.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, in what ways did the Superscaler program deliver value to you?
In many ways, there's kind of the objective ways and the subjective ways. I'd say on the objective level, you've helped me connect with new opportunities that we're talking about right now. And the subjective level, it's sort of, even though this is not my first rodeo, but it improved my sort of sense of maybe confidence and the ability to communicate and talk about what we're doing. I'm based here in Canada. We have a certain way of doing things, maybe a bit more low key. And I'm kind of learning and adopting to kind of the south of the border approach of doing things. And I think it took me a little bit of time to get there.
No, no, you're amazing, actually. Um, if you look at it, if you look at three lessons, the top lessons that you've learned going through the program, what are three of those lessons that you've learned from Superscaler?
Um, so I'd say, one is focus on the story. It's very hard to get anywhere if people don't get the big picture and why it matters. And there it's not just kind of the facts of your story, but how you tie it all together. Because at the end, people can, buy what they connect with. It's not just about the objective benefits and so on. So I think the story is really important. And that, related to that, number two is don't expect to get it right up front. I think there was a lot of iteration in the program, and I think you've been very good about kind of working with the different people at different levels. So I think just kind of allow yourself to make mistakes or to kind of try things out. and iterate through it. Um, and then I think kind of towards like the second part of the program, I think it's very important to tie it all together. So you can't leave a lot of loose ends. So you got to work in parallel on a lot of aspects of your, how you're pitching and what you're offering and how it all comes together. Story is very important, but it's not just the story. Obviously, all the other things need to be there in terms of the team, the marketing strategy, the defensive differentiation, and so on and so on. Focus on the story, but don't focus only on the story.
We go down through and we use mentors, to provide guidance. How did you like those mentoring sessions?
I think the mentoring sessions are good because there's always something surprising that happens. Like somebody asks you something and sometimes you haven't thought about it, or it's just a different brain, an experienced brain that thinks about it, and they approach it differently. And of course, none of them spend the time that you do. So you may have already thought about what they say, but just the process of kind of saying, okay, at least defending or at least opening up to new ways to doing it. And sometimes you get surprised and you really have to go back and think about it. And I had one case where we haven't thought about a particular channel for our product, and now we consider it one of the top three. So there's definitely a lot of benefit in having so many experienced people looking at what you're doing.
Yeah, and you're right about it. We have Harvard MBAs, Stanford MBAs, Yale doctors, neurosurgeons from Yale, MIT MBAs. They're like yourself. They've had a few companies and they come to GSD to really scale because it's a different thing. It's not about the talk, it's about the action. I named it GSD for a reason. It's get shit done because it's about just doing it. It's a binary kind of thing. And the other thing is networking contacts, operational expertise, and access to capital is critically important. And when you have that 360-degree view, like you said, that all those pieces work together, you can win the race. You can win Formula One with the car. And sometimes we forget that it's good to have cheerleaders out there that care about you, and love you, help you. And those cheerleaders many times are high net worth individuals, family offices, or funds. And they come behind you and nobody talks about it, right? But that's how it really works. And so it's kind of funny because, Rafi, the average VC is 24 to 33. They've never built a company, only 10%, yet they're trying to tell you, and I can imagine having you with the number of companies you've had and exits, right? How to build a company. And it's really interesting because they use financial models to drive it. And we know that's not it, right? It's not just about the financial models, it's about who cares about you.
100%. And that's part of the gratitude that I have is, after all, these people are very successful. They don't have to do what they're doing. And the fact that they're dedicating the time and effort and are willing to share some of their experience and wisdom, I can't be, thankful enough for that kind of support.
Yeah, we love it. On the other side is, these create some of the most interesting opportunities for investors on the planet because they find companies before the people find them, and they look at them, and they're from all walks of life, whether they're from churches or they're from high net worth families out of Italy or Germany or Africa, wherever they are, they have one purposes, especially now, right? How do we use these tools like agentic AI, longevity? How do we make ourselves have a better quality life, whatever it is? And we don't want to, in your case, forget those stories, those loved ones, Everybody feels it in their heart. You think about that loved one, it's important. And in fact, I was, the other day, I happened to get a picture of my grandmother, and that picture, you can take those pictures and bring them to life. I don't know if you've seen that, but you could
Yes,
actually make them move. And to see my grandmother smile one more time, it was uncanny, actually,
incredible. It's
and those kind
incredible.
of things. But
Yeah.
that's how lives are going to be in the future. And when I've been involved in startups in Silicon Valley for 40 years, 17 companies, and all we do is talk to companies just like yours that are some of the most incredible companies in the world. And the key is everybody should have a shot to build that unicorn. everybody should have those contacts and network and be part of the same family, if you will, to grow. And it's so critically important. Closing thoughts, Rafi, and how do people get a hold of you if you want to talk to you?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I know I would highly recommend the program for, companies who are, pre-seed or seed and are kind of have something interesting to offer. There's a lot to gain in this program. People who are interested in me and StoriedLife AI and what we do, which is we basically offer individuals a personal biographer that kind of does all the heavy lifting in creating their life story and turning it into also a digital twin. If you're interested in this technology, you're interested in the solution, you want to find out more, you can get in touch with me at Rafi, R-A-F-I, at StoriedLife.ai. That's StoriedLife.ai.
I appreciate it. So for you, all those out there, we have from pre-seed companies all the way to Series B companies that come to us to be able to go on that journey. And it's not about one country, it's about how we can take it global and get stuff done. Thanks, Rafi, for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thanks to all of you listening. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And we'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Gary Fowler, CEO, President, and Founder of GSD Venture Studios. We help game-changing startups super scale from local to global. GSD's 15-week Super Scaler program is designed to propel startups to new heights by leveraging GSD's expertise and resources. Super scale your startup with GSD, and let's go global together. Apply now.